So I always say, the obvious question is, why do we need supplements, right? We evolved for the last 200,000 years, and there was no Whole Foods or GNC or supplement store, or you couldn't buy vitamin D or vitamin C or any of this stuff. We didn't even know what it was. And yet somehow we managed to survive. So from an evolutionary point of view, supplements are kind of irrelevant. But right now we're living so out of sync with our evolutionary biology that we need to really look at the facts about what's happening with our food supply, with our nutrient levels, both in our food and in our bodies, and the consequences of that for our health. So I always say, I don't think anybody needs supplements, but only under certain conditions. 1, you have to hunt and gather your own wild food. 2, you have to drink pure, clean water. 3, you have to have no chronic stress. 4, you have to exercise all the time as part of your lifestyle. 5, you have to sleep 9 hours a night, going to bed with the sun and waking with the sun. And 6, you have to be exposed to no environmental toxins or external insults. Now, if that's you, no, you don't need any supplements. But the rest of us, we should pay attention, because after almost 30 years of vigorously testing nutritional status on all my patients, I'm beyond shocked at the level of nutritional deficiencies. And I have a clientele that's generally well off, that understands health and nutrition, that's trying to do the right thing. I don't see a lot of people now, I used to, but don't see a lot of people now who, eat junk food and fast food and processed food. I've had a few of those. I call them Dr. Hyman virgins, where they don't know anything about health or nutrition. And I do their blood work, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying, the level of massive nutritional deficiency. I mean, just one little kid I had, I'll just share a story. He had severe ADD. He had behavioral issues, was kicked out of kindergarten, but he also had all these other health issues: asthma, allergies, acne, stomach aches, irritable bowel, muscle cramps, anal itching. I mean, the list goes on and on. And he was seeing 7 different doctors and tons of medication, and he just was a mess. And all he ate was junk food, processed meats, never saw vegetables in his life. And I could pretty much predict from his dietary history what he was going to be deficient in. He didn't eat fish, so he's omega-3 deficient. He didn't eat any seeds or grains or anything, so he was zinc deficient. He didn't eat anything with B vitamins in it. He was folate deficient. He was magnesium deficient because he didn't eat greens or beans or nuts or seeds. So he had all these deficiencies that were so common in the general population, but his were so magnified. So what I see typically, and this is not my opinion, this is the NHANES study, which is a large national governmental survey every year where they look at the health of the population, and they don't just ask questions, they actually go in and they find people, they testing, they see what their numbers look like. And based on these really robust data of tens of thousands of people, 90+% of Americans, probably 99% of Americans, are deficient in something. And the major deficiencies, about 90% are deficient or more in omega-3 fats, 50% in magnesium, probably, 20% in iron. Zinc is 40% deficient. So we've got these major deficiencies of these key nutrients, that are really essential for biology. And what people don't understand about nutrition and nutrients is that they're pleomorphic. And that means in English that they have a lot of functions. So if you take a drug, let's say a statin, it basically has one action. It blocks this enzyme that produces cholesterol, HMG-CoA reductase. And it also has some other, we call pleiotropic effects. It also actually induces something called nitric oxide synthase, which is good for producing nitric oxide, which may reduce inflammation. But also has other side effects. It kind of blocks CoQ10 production because it's also the same enzyme, and it may cause muscle injury. But there's generally very few pathways. Nutrients, on the other hand, like magnesium, has 300 different enzymes that it regulates. Zinc, same thing, 200 different enzymes. So they have multiple functions throughout multiple parts of our cellular physiology that if we don't have them, it's like our cellular machinery can't do what it's supposed to do. And this was mind-blowing when I first heard about it, Drew. Bruce Ames, one of the leading researchers in nutrition and science, there's a test called after him, the Ames test, to look for cancer-inducing compounds. And he's like probably in his late 80s now. He's still around. And he wrote an article years ago, which basically mapped out that 1/3 of our whole DNA, our entire DNA, codes for enzymes. Enzymes are basically catalysts that change one chemical to another chemical in your body to do what it's supposed to do. Well, if 1/3 of your entire DNA codes for enzymes, that's important. So what do enzymes need to work? They need coenzymes or cofactors, which are usually vitamins and minerals, but also phytonutrients. So how does enzymes work? Well, there's a little key that goes in the enzyme. It turns it on, and that key is usually a nutrient, vitamin C, B6, folate. In other words, for example, to make tryptophan into serotonin, which is your happy mood chemical, you take the amino acid you're eating from tryptophan, which comes from food like protein, turkey, everybody knows turkey, tryptophan. That has to get converted to serotonin. Well, that requires vitamin B6. There's an enzyme. Or your thyroid, in order to make the thyroid that your thyroid gland makes into the active thyroid hormone T3, you have an enzyme there, which actually requires selenium. So if you don't have selenium, it can't work. Or if you want to see the thyroid action on the nucleus, where it actually does all its work to control your metabolism, you need vitamin D as a cofactor to help it function at the nuclear level to create the downstream effects, which is to turn on different genes to do different things, to regulate your metabolism and so many other things. So nutrients are such a critical part of our biology. And if we don't have enough of the required nutrients, our health degrades.
הרפואה הגדולה מכולן היא ללמד אנשים איך לא להזדקק לה. לעוד סרטונים בנושאי בריאות מיטבית, כנסו לדף הפייסבוק שלנו, Dear Dog Life. למאמרים, מחקרים ומידע רב בנושאי תזונה, כנסו לקבוצת הפייסבוק שלנו, כלבים וחתולים חוזרים אל אמא טבע.